Hare Krishna. Let's say some Mangalacharan prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapat Kamlam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Satam Sajivam साधवेतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सागण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चना गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधरा श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारणे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरं गुर्वे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna everyone. So we are reading Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 and we are at verse 24. Actually verse 23, 24 and 25, they are all together. So we just recited verse 23, which was talking about, where Krishna is talking about how soul cannot be cut by any weapons. Okay, so it's bulletproof. It cannot be cut by or struck by bullets or any fire weapons or swords or astra shastra. Nothing can touch the soul. Okay, then he said it cannot be burnt by the fire. Okay, so it's fireproof also. It's bulletproof, it's fireproof. It cannot be moistened or made wet by the water. So water cannot moisten it, which means it's waterproof also. Okay, apo means kledyantyaapo. Apo means water. Okay, Krishna says, right? Raso hamapsu konteya. Apsu, up, apo or up means water. Okay, so waterproof also. And also windproof. It's a windproof also because wind cannot dry it or wither it. Na shoshati maruta. It cannot be dried up by wind. So these are some of the characteristics of the soul. Soul is beyond the touch of the material elements. It is beyond the control. It is beyond the contact with the matter. Even though it is existing within the material body, but all these elements cannot really harm the soul, cannot really touch the soul. Okay, so we are hearing about the characteristics or nature of the soul, the properties of the soul. So let's read the next one. 2.24 and 25, they go sort of together. We'll try to read their purports and everything. Let's recite this. Achedyoyam adhayoyam. Achedyoyam adhayoyam. Akledyo ashosya eva cha. Akledyo ashosya eva cha. Nitya sarvagata sthanur. Nitya
sarvagata sthanur.
Achaloyam sanatana.
Achaloyam
sanatana. Please read the translation.
I can read, Mataji.
Yes.
This individual soul is unbreakable and insoluble, and can be neither burned nor dried. He is everlasting, present everywhere, unchangeable, immovable, and eternally the same. Hare Krishna.
Very bold. So this is giving more properties, more characteristics of the soul. So there are almost 8-9 characteristics given. So achedyo means unbreakable. Okay, unbreakable. So this ayam means this soul. So again, this soul is unbreakable. Adhayo means unable to be burnt. So again, Krishna is reinforcing some of these points again. He's emphasizing on those same qualities of the soul again. So he's saying it cannot be broken. It cannot be, dah means burn. It cannot be burnt again. It cannot be burnt. Akledyo, remember kledyantyaapo. So kledya means to become soluble, to become dissolved in the water, to become moistened or wet by the water. So kledya means, so before we said, nainam kledyantyaapo, right? Na chainam kledyantyaapo. So kledya means to get dissolved by the water. So now he's saying same thing again. Akledyo, he's saying the same um, uh, he's giving the same details but in different words. Akledyo, so it cannot become dissolved in water. It is insoluble. Shoshya cannot be dried. Okay, just like he said before, cannot be dried. So na shoshyati maruta. So again he's saying shoshya. So four things he said: unbreakable, cannot be burnt, cannot be dissolved, insoluble, and cannot be dried. It's nitya. Nitya means it's everlasting. Okay, it's eternal or everlasting. Sarvagata, this is a very beautiful word. Sarvagata, Prabhupada has elaborated on this word. Sarvagata means it can exist anywhere, all pervading. Okay, it can exist anywhere. So our body has restrictions, so we cannot exist in this body. It's difficult for the soul to exist in different places. But soul itself can exist even in fire, in water, in sky, in volcanoes, in anywhere. It can exist in different planets. It can exist anywhere. But within this body we have restrictions. So for example, we cannot exist in this body, we cannot exist in fire. But there are many living entities actually that live in fire, or that live in volcanoes, or that live on different planets, or that live in the water. But we cannot do that because the body has its restrictions where it can live. But soul can live in different places. So sarvagata means it has the property of being able to exist anywhere and everywhere. Sthanu means it is unchangeable. Okay, it does not change. We have heard about that. It is immutable. Before Krishna used the word immutable. Now he's saying unchangeable. It cannot be mutated. It cannot degrade. It does not transform. Remember that body goes through those 6 transformative changes. 6 transformations happen in the body. Body takes birth, it grows, it stays, then it makes some byproducts, then it grows old, dwindles, and finally dies. So those 6 changes come upon the body, on the matter, but soul does not go through those changes that the body goes through. So soul does not become child and youthful and old age and diseased and dead and none of that. It is unchangeable. Achalo means immovable. Okay. I am Sanatana. Sanatana means eternally the same. So it is always the same. It is eternally existing everywhere and it is always the same. So these are some of the properties given. But let's read purport. Mataji, want to continue?
Yes, Mataji. All these qualifications of atomic soul definitely prove that individual soul is eternally the atomic particle of the spirit whole, and he remains the same atom eternally, without change. The theory of monism is very difficult to apply in this case, because the individual soul is never expected to become one homogeneously. After liberation from material contamination, the atomic soul may prefer to remain as a spiritual spark in the effulgent rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But the intelligent souls enter into the spiritual planets to associate with the Personality of Godhead. The word Sarvagata, all pervading, is significant because there is no doubt that living entities are all over God's creation. They live on the land, in the water, in the air, within the earth, and even within fire. The belief that they are sterilized in fire is not acceptable because it is clearly stated here that soul cannot be burned by fire. Therefore, there is no doubt that there are living entities also in the sun planet with suitable bodies to live there. If sun globe is inhabited, then the word Sarvagata, living everywhere, becomes meaningless. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is what I was saying. Prabhupada has elaborated on this word, Sarvagata, all pervading. So if one gets a suitable body, they can live anywhere. So we may be discovering life on different planets just now, or we may refute the existence of life on other planets, that life cannot be supported on other planets. But actually Prabhupada is saying that living entities are present on all the different planets, and actually our scriptures mention about life on all these different planets with suitable bodies. So all these celestial heavenly bodies that we know about, whether sun, moon, various planets, they all actually have life, and there are living entities, there are souls there existing in the particular suitable bodies that are suitable to live on those planets according to the conditions of that planet. So it's Sarvagata. So I think this is understandable. Let's go to the next one. This is on the same theme. 23, 24, 25, Krishna continues on the same theme of the properties of the soul. So let's do this one. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam.
Avyaktoyam achintyoyam
Avikaryo ayam uchyate.
Avikaryo ayam uchyate.
Tasmad evam viditvenam.
Tasmad evam viditvenam.
Nanushocitam arhasi.
Nanusochitam arhasi.
Okay, please read this one.
Can I read, Mataji?
Okay.
Yes, whoever.
Okay.
Please read. Yes.
Okay. It is said that the soul is invisible, inconceivable, and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body.
Very bold. So again, more properties. So Krishna is saying avyakto. Avyakto means, because we know that soul is, it's atomic soul. It's a spiritual atom. It's much smaller than the material atom. So, you know, material atom has been discovered by the scientists, and they have even further broken it down into neutrons, protons, electrons, and they can even use the energy of the atom to make atomic bomb, or even further break it down to make hydrogen bomb and use the electrons to make electricity and whatnot. So we have been able to harness the functioning of an material atom. But spiritual atom or a spiritual spark, the atomic soul, is actually much, much smaller than even a material atom. If you remember, Prabhupada mentioned the size of the soul is 1/10,000th part of the tip of the soul. 1/10,000th of the tip of the soul. Can everyone mute themselves?
Tip of the hair.
Yeah, tip of the
Sorry,
hair.
tip of the hair. I was just trying to mute everyone. Yes, 1/10,000th of the tip of the hair. So the size of the soul is 1/10,000th of the tip of the hair. So it's so small. So it is avyakto, it is invisible, it is not perceivable, it is not conceivable by our senses. It is not something our senses can perceive. Our senses cannot even, like our eyes cannot, are so defective, they cannot even see like a bacteria or a virus. Like COVID created so much havoc. We cannot see COVID with our eyes. We cannot we can see it only with certain very advanced microscopes and other instruments like that. But we have not discovered any instrument which can actually perceive the soul. So spiritual atom, spiritual spark, or spirit soul cannot perceive the cannot be perceived by any of the material instruments designed by the mankind. So it's avyakto. Okay. Achintya means inconceivable. So it's inconceivable to us. It is very hard for us to imagine. That's why people don't believe, because they can't see it. They can't perceive it with their senses. And people only want to believe what they can see. Since they cannot see it, they cannot conceive of it. They cannot even imagine how the soul is pervading through this whole body in the form of consciousness. It's pervading the whole body and animating this body. It's something very difficult for them to understand. So that's why they faultily understand that they are this body. So that's why this bodily conception comes, because body they can conceive, body they can see. So body's functioning, body's effects and causes, everything they can perceive. So that's why they believe in body as being themselves. So they think that they are body. That leads to bodily identification. But soul they are not able to conceive of. They can't believe that they are the soul existing within this body. So that's why soul is achintya. It's inconceivable. It's very difficult to understand, difficult to imagine. Avikarya, again, avikar or unchangeable, we have read before also. Almost all three verses, Krishna mentioned this unchangeable nature of the soul. Matter changes, soul does not change, immutable or avikar or unchangeable. Uchyate, it is said that soul is like that. So then Krishna reassures Arjun that since nothing can happen to the soul, you should not lament, you should not grieve, because what you are doing is only harming this body, and soul is only temporarily present in this body. It will move on to its next destination. For these people, it's better that their body is finished right now, because they have misused their body for aggressive, irreligious, violent purposes, and so their body is now not serving the purpose of Lord, not being used for a good purpose in this world. So their body needs to be destroyed by a righteous soldier, a righteous prince like Arjun. Their body, they do not deserve to continue living in this body. They need to move on to the next destination. And it's better for them if they die in this war, in a righteous religious war. They will actually get a good destination. So better that they die at your hands in this war, and you do not need to lament for the actual living entity, because actual living entity is all these properties that Krishna described. Actual living entity is not getting harmed at all by you. That actual Bhishma, that actual Drona will actually move on. You may not perceive them, because you can only perceive them in this body. So yes, you will not have access to that living entity. It will move on, but it will not be harmed. So be sure, know that they will not be harmed. Do not grieve, do not lament about the actual person. Nothing will happen to the actual person at all. That's what Krishna is saying at the end of this verse. Let's keep reading. Puja Mataji, please continue. I can't hear you, Mataji. Are you reading?
As described previously, the magnitude of the soul is so small for our material calculation that he cannot be seen even by the most powerful microscope. Therefore, he is invisible. As far as the soul's existence is concerned, no one can establish his existence experimentally beyond the proof of Shruti or Vedic wisdom. We have to accept this truth because there is no other source of understanding the existence of the soul, although it is a fact by perception. There are many things we have to accept solely on grounds of superior authority. No one can deny the existence of his father based upon the authority of his mother. There is no source of understanding the identity of the father except by the authority of the mother. Similarly, there is no source of understanding the soul except by studying the Vedas. In other words, the soul is inconceivable by human experimental knowledge. The soul is consciousness and conscious and also is the statement of the Vedas, and we have to accept that. Unlike the bodily changes, there is no change in the soul. As eternally unchangeable, the soul remains atomic in comparison to the infinite supreme soul. The supreme soul is infinite and the atomic soul is infinitesimal. Therefore, the infinitesimal soul, being unchangeable, can never become equal to the infinite soul or the supreme personality of Godhead. This concept is repeated in the Vedas in different ways just to confirm the stability of the conception of the soul. Repetition of something is necessary in order that we understand the matter thoroughly without error. Hari Bol.
Very bold. Thank you, Mataji, for reading. So this verse, Prabhupada is saying that we cannot experimentally prove the existence of the soul. We just discussed that, right? There are no instruments or technologies or techniques, microscopes we have to see the spiritual atom or the spirit soul, the spirit spark, the Anuatma. We cannot see it through any powerful microscope. We have not devised such a microscope with our science yet. So what proof do we have? Prabhupada is saying there is no proof beyond the proof of Shruti or Vedic wisdom. So remember that Vedic wisdom is called Shruti. It's Shruti and Smriti. And remember, Bhagavad Gita is both, we discussed this at the very beginning of when we started Bhagavad Gita, that Bhagavad Gita is both Shruti and Smriti. It's Shruti because it's part of Mahabharata. Sorry, it's Smriti because it's part of Mahabharata. And it's Shruti because it's spoken by Krishna. So in this way, we have no other proof other than Vedic wisdom. Prabhupada is saying scriptures are the mother, and mother gives us the knowledge about the father. So if you want to know who my father is, I want to know who my father is, I will have to ask my mother. And that's all. I have to just accept her word. She tells me this is my father, I will accept that person as my father. So scriptures are the mother who give us the knowledge about the Father, the Supreme Lord. So all the proof is given in the scriptures. Scriptures are coming directly from the Supreme Lord. So all the proof that we need is given in the scriptures. We don't need to go to the limited knowledge of science or the material, because science is very limited. Okay, science is something which can discover matter, which can discover the properties of the matter. But when spiritual world is concerned, the materialistic tools are very inferior, very limited, and they cannot explore the spiritual world or spiritual entities. Okay, so spiritual soul, spirit soul cannot be identified by material instruments or material technologies, material science, because it's very limited, because of being made of matter itself. So for matter, it's very difficult to detect spirit. So we have to go to a spiritual source, which is our scriptures. Scriptures give us the knowledge of the spirit soul. So Prabhupada is saying Vedas is the authority, Vedas is the proof. We have to accept the authority of the Vedas. That soul is so small, it is infinitesimal. Okay, and who is infinite, which has no beginning, no end, that is the super soul, the supreme soul, the Paramatma, the Vibhu Atma, which is none other than Krishna, who is the infinite supreme soul, and we are his part and parcel. So we are being referred to as infinitesimal. Okay, infinitesimal. So basically there are three things. There is infinite supreme soul, there is us, the living entity, which is very small, infinitesimal, and then there is matter, which is finite. Okay, so finite, infinite, and infinitesimal. There are these three things. Infinitesimal is same in nature as the infinite supreme soul. Okay, so we are very small, infinitesimal, and the super soul, supreme soul is infinite, okay, which is no beginning, no end. So we can never become equal to the infinite soul. So Prabhupada always keeps giving us our relation to the super soul. That Jivatma has a relation to the super soul. The relation is that we are similar in quality to the super soul. We are Satchidanand Roop, but we are very minute in quantity. We are very small. We are very minute, and we are his part and parcel, his eternal servant. Okay, so Prabhupada keeps bringing us back to that knowledge of connection between the super soul and the spirit soul, the Jivatma and the Paramatma. We should always remember this connection between the two. But right now we are understanding the qualities of the spirit soul or the Jivatma. So we have basically these three verses was giving us the qualities of the spirit soul. Any questions so far before we take the next verse? Okay. In the end, Prabhupada is saying we are repeating this information. All this knowledge is being repeated by Krishna and by Prabhupada, and repetition is necessary so that we can understand the whole concept, all the principles thoroughly without error. Okay. So please start fixing some of these words in your memory, like what is supreme soul or super soul, what is spirit soul, what is Jivatma, what is Paramatma, which one is infinite, which one is infinitesimal, matter is finite, right? All these things, these are the basic concepts. Remember, this is the first knowledge, the difference between spirit and matter that is being given by Krishna. This is the first step of self-realization to understand the difference between spirit versus matter. This is the first step of self-realization. Okay, let's read the next one. 2.26. Atha chayanam nityajatam. Atha chayanam nityajatam.
नित्यजातं
Nityam va manyase mritam. Nityam va
नित्यं वा
manyase
मनयसे
mritam.
मृतं
Tathapi tvam mahabaho. Tathapi
तथा
tvam
त्वं
mahabaho.
महाबाहो
Nayanam shochitam arhasi. Nayanam
नैनं
shochitam
शोचितुम्
arhasi.
अर्हसि
Okay, please read this one. Who wants to read?
Should I read?
Yes.
Hari Bol. If, however, you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament. O mighty armed.
Give me 1 second to read the purport. So here now Krishna is changing the philosophy, okay? So Krishna has already given us the correct philosophy. The correct understanding is, correct principle is that soul is eternal, okay? It does not take birth, it does not die. It only comes into this body for a limited time period. Body takes birth and dies, and then soul leaves when the body is not uh, best for its use or for its purpose anymore, then the soul leaves. But soul does not take birth or die. Okay, that is the correct understanding, the correct principle of um, of uh, difference between spirit versus matter. Now Krishna is changing the principle. He's saying, but let's say you don't believe me. Let's say you have some different philosophy. Let's say you believe that soul takes birth and dies forever. Okay, so he said, however, you think, because there are some people like that, right? Even though the teacher is teaching, they still keep arguing their point. So if they have some previous incorrect perceptions or misunderstanding, some false notions, they stick to those notions very strongly. They're not able to give up those false notions. So there are some students very stuck to their previous understandings, and it's very difficult to teach such students. But let's say Krishna says, let's say you are like that. Let's say you think that the soul takes birth and dies forever. So this is the misconception in the world, right? That we are born, and then when the body dies, basically we are dying. We are done. That you stop existing. You don't exist anymore. That's the incorrect understanding. But let's say you have that incorrect understanding. So Krishna says, even then you have no reason to lament, O mighty armed, O Mahabaho. You still don't have any reason to lament. This verse is a little bit difficult to understand because it's an incorrect principle. So, we'll just read this quickly. But the point is, Krishna is saying that let's say you think you are this body. Let's say you are born. The soul takes birth and dies. Okay. Let's say you believe that, which means once I die, this body dies. I stop existing. That's it for me. This is it. You are the matter. You are the body. Body dies. You die, meaning you died. Let's say you believe that. Okay. So even then there is nothing to lament, because if you died, then there is no future reaction, right? So actually this is a very faulty theory. Can anybody think of the fault with this theory? If we are matter, if we are this body, someone may say that I believe that I'm this body. There is a big fault with this theory. What is the fault here? What is the problem here? Can anyone think of the big problem with this theory? I have no future existence beyond this body. Once the body dies, I will die. What is the problem with this understanding? Nagarjuna Prabhu, Ravi Prabhu, anyone? So this can be a very common misconception, right? That I'm this body.
Hare Krishna. Yes. So there are a lot of principles which are not explained, and some different religions do believe like that. There is only one life, and there is no follow up. No, there is. They believe in the karma, but in terms of only that the next destination will be based upon whatever you do in this life. But then there are some fallacies in this, because then why so there is one really nice argument that explains this, and that argument was that
Nagarjuna Prabhu,
in
breaking
some
up a
different
little.
religions that
I'm
okay,
saying I'm saying
you can tell about that.
soul is finished. Soul is finished with the body. I'm not saying there is any next destination. Krishna is saying soul dies forever. Did you see the verse? Krishna says, let's say soul dies forever. Let's say you think soul dies forever. There is no next destination, because even in Christianity, even though they don't believe in reincarnation. They don't believe that you get next body, but they still believe in a heaven, right? They go to their heavenly Father.
Yes.
So whatever they do in this life matters, because if they do good deeds in this life, then only they go to the heavenly abode. Otherwise, they go to hell. So the concept of
Mhm.
hell and heaven is there. But so they still believe in soul and body. Even though they do not believe that soul gets another body, they still believe soul is separate from this body. even in Christianity.
Mhm.
Now, Krishna is saying, you are saying soul is this body and will die with this body. There is no next destination. There is no heaven, no hell, nothing for the soul. It's gone, dead with this body, dies forever. Then what? That is even more fallacious than what you are trying to prove,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, then the Mataji, then the ultimate purpose of getting back to the Godhead is futile then
The
because
Godhead does not exist for क्योंकि you are, I mean, because you died. So the main problem with this is if you are dying with this body, then whatever you can do, whatever in this life, there is no consequence because there is no future. Since there is no future, there cannot be karma, there cannot be any consequence. So you can do whatever nonsense in this life because you will die with this body. So might as well enjoy as much as you can, do as much sinful things as you want because there is no future consequence, because there is no future at all. The soul dies with this body, soul dies forever, then there is no future at all to have. You don't have to come to tolerate these reactions because there is no future to tolerate these reactions. So you should then enjoy your life to the utmost, and that's where what most of the demoniac negative people in this world believe, that this is it, I'm going to die with this body, one life, that's it, might as well enjoy, do whatever you want, exploit other people, misbehave, mistreat people, do whatever you want, kill, do whatever, because this is all I have to enjoy. Once I die, I'm done. So if I'm done, then there is no future consequence, there is no future reaction, there is no karma. The theory of karma is gone because there is no future reaction at all. Does that make sense? Because if
Yeah,
you're
but that is what we were trying to prove. That I thought the question is, then how do you prove this theory wrong?
so that's what I'm saying. This is the main policy. That means we can do whatever we in this life, but we know everybody says we should not do whatever we want. There are consequences. So if there are consequences, when will those consequences be if we stop existing? That means there
yeah,
is a future.
I think Mataji, I would like to say one thing that hello.
Yes, mother, you're audible.
Yeah. Yes, Mataji, I was trying to say that you are right in a way that the sinful reactions or the consequences you are talking about, because you very well explained that this religious war was a war for the uphold of dharma, so that their repetitive sinful activities can be curtailed. That's why they were dying, so that in the next lives they are not being punished or bear grief consequences. So that what consequences they will be no taken care of if we talk about that we are done with this soul, with this body. That is no longer a valid argument for that then.
Yes,
The
mother.
once we
Basically, what I'm
explained or
saying is,
understood.
hmm, what I'm saying is, if soul is matter, if soul is matter, if soul is also is if soul is this body, if you're really this body, uh, if somebody comes to you and says, I don't believe there is a soul, I am this body, that's what I'm trying to refute. Okay, so if you say that I'm matter or I am this body, then the big fallacy with that plan is that there are no future consequences because the body dies. If you are matter, then nothing matters. If you're matter, then nothing matters. Then you can exploit, you can do whatever nonsense you want, whatever crime, anything you can commit. Because if you are matter, if you are this body, then how does anything matter? You can do whatever you want in this life. Then you should actually really enjoy with this body. So the flaw in the plan is that we are not this body. We have a future beyond this body. That's why how we live in this body is very important. We have to live very carefully because in future beyond this body, we will get reactions. We will get consequences of our actions. So we do not finish with this body. Our life keeps going on beyond. This is just a chapter in the book. There are more and more chapters to come, and what happens in next chapters will be decided by what we do in this chapter. That is a fallacy of that plan. The book is not over with this particular chapter. If we say that we are this body, if we are this matter, then nothing matters in this life actually.
So yes, so that is what I was trying to say, that if somebody believes this and is not ready to believe that there is some reactions or consequence, if you take away the concept of karma at all completely, then it is very difficult to convince that person of the right thing. Here, Arjuna believes that there is a next life, there is sin attached. If he would do this, commit this, kill them, then there will be sin attached. That is the whole point why this second theory that Krishna is giving makes still sense for Arjuna also. But we cannot come to the conclusion that Arjuna believes that there is no repercussion to the action that is doing, because he mentioned that there is sin attached. So
Nagachu Prabhu, I think it's getting very complicated. It's not this complicated. It's very simple. Krishna is catering to both beliefs. One belief is of Arjun or of all the regular people that soul has an eternal existence beyond this body. So he said, if there is an eternal existence, then you should be fine because you're fighting a righteous war, so you will not get any reaction. But let's say you believe this body is matter. So in this verse, Krishna says, then nothing matters because you still have no reason to lament. Because if you will die with this body, if you will die forever anyways, then again you have no reason to lament. So Krishna is actually reassuring Arjun that even if that is your belief, you have no reason to lament. So we don't need to comment on what Arjun believes or not believes. Krishna is telling us, let's say you believe that soul is matters, that you are actually this body. If you die with this body, if these people die with this body, then nothing matters because there is no future reactions or anything to bear. So there is no, these people will not suffer. This is it. They're done. Your job is done. So nothing matters if they die with this body. There is no reason to lament. Krishna is saying in the last line, as you can say. So he's basically saying, whichever way you believe, the correct thing or the incorrect thing, the correct theory that you are the spirit soul which continues to exist beyond this body, then also you don't need to worry. If you think you are this body and you will die with this body, then again you don't need to worry. Because in that case, there is no future. If there is no future, then there are no reactions. So nothing to worry even then. So does that make sense or no? It's more simpler than you are understanding, because I think you have a lot of understanding. So you are applying a lot of complicated things here and there, but it's actually more simple than that. So you may have to bring your understanding down a notch to make sense of this. If not, let's read Prabhupada's purport because he makes this very clear. Mataji, or whoever was reading the translation, please continue. Mama, you will reading, please continue. Okay, I can read. There is always a class of philosophers, almost akin to the Buddhists, who do not believe in the separate existence of the soul beyond the body. When Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, it appears that such philosophers existed, and they were known as Lokaitikas and Vaibhashikas. Vaibhashikas. Such philosophers maintain that life symptoms take place at a certain mature condition of material combination. So please read this, please hear this very carefully, whoever was having confusion about this. Such philosophers maintain that life symptoms take place at a certain mature condition of material combination. This line means that when matter becomes mature, then life appears inside it. Okay, so life appears inside the matter. Okay, this is contrary to what we believe. It is incorrect understanding. The modern material scientists and materialistic philosophers also think similarly. According to them, the body is a combination of physical elements, and at a certain stage, the life symptoms develop by interaction of the physical and chemical elements. The science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. So I hope you all follow that this is not the correct understanding. This is saying that life just appears in the matter when the matter is at a certain stage of a combination of different elements. Currently, many pseudo-religions now becoming fashionable in America are also adhering to this philosophy, as are the nihilistic, non-devotional Buddhist sects. So Prabhupada is saying this is the modern philosophy that many scientists and many pseudo-religions believe in, and some of the Buddhist sects also have this type of fallacious, incorrect philosophy, which thinks that life just appears within the matter and it dies with the matter forever. Okay. Even if Arjun did not believe in the existence of the soul, as in the Vaibhashik philosophy. So here it is very clear. We are assuming, let's say Arjun is the kind of person who believes in this type of philosophy. There would still have been no cause of lamentation. No one laments the loss of a certain bulk of chemicals and stops discharging his prescribed duty. On the other hand, in modern science and scientific warfare, so many tons of chemicals are wasted for achieving victory over the enemy. According to the Vaibhashik philosophy, the so-called soul or Atma vanishes along with the deterioration of the body. Does everybody understand that this is the philosophy we are reading, which is wrong? Is this understandable so far? So the life that appears within the body just deteriorates or dies with the body. So in any case, whether Arjun accepted the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul, or he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. So let's say we're not guessing what Arjun believes. We are saying, let's say Arjun believes Vedic conclusion, or let's say he does not believe the Vedic conclusion. He does not believe in the existence of the soul. Either way, he has no reason to lament. According to this theory, since there are so many living entities generated out of matter, they are generated out of matter, and so many of them are being vanquished every moment, there is no need to grieve for such incidents. If there were no rebirth for the soul, Arjun has no reason to be afraid of being affected by sinful reactions due to his killing his grandfather and teacher. This is what I was trying to say. Since there is no rebirth, there is no future consequence, because there is no future. So there is no future sinful reactions due to the killing of these people. But at the same time, Krishna sarcastically addressed Arjun as Mahabahu, mighty armed, because at least he did not accept the theory of the Vaibhashikas, which leaves aside the Vedic wisdom. So Krishna is saying, but you are Mahabahu, so you should not accept this incorrect Vaibhashik philosophy. You should accept the Vedic wisdom. As a Kshatriya, Arjun belonged to the Vedic culture, and it behooved him to continue to follow its principles. So he should better believe Vedic principles. So this verse is basically what is used to refute when somebody says that I am this body. So you can refute by saying that if you are this body, then whatever you do in this body actually does not matter. So you can go on and do whatever nonsense you want. Yet we see that these people live a very righteous, pious life and do a lot of ritualistic things and whatnot. So how can you say you are this body? Because clearly you are worried about some type of future, some type of sinful reaction in the future. That's why you're living very properly. Why are you living within the bounds of marriage and living and raising your children very piously if you think you are this body? Because if you're this body, then go enjoy your life. Nothing matters. All these wars are fine. Why should you care if people die in the war? They're just matter. Do you care if a bottle of Coke is just thrown away? You don't care if how many bottles of Coke are thrown away, because that's just matter. So similarly, then if you think you are this matter, then nothing matters. Then you are just like this bottle of Coke. That can also be thrown away, and you can also be thrown away because you're just this matter. But the lives of people matter because there is soul within them. They're not just this body. That's why the lives matter. That's why we are very careful before committing violence, before entering into war. That's why all these tragic, why is this airplane crash so tragic? If it was just matter, that there were no souls in there, people were just matter, they were just like bottles of Coke. If it was just a bottle of Coke that spilled into ocean, then who cares? But no, these were very precious lives that got lost because they were doing some righteous things through that body. The soul has moved on, but the soul was living within that body and doing certain things. And so body is just an instrument, not the ultimate living entity. So with this verse, you can refute those people who say that actually, according to Vedic wisdom, we believe Krishna also refutes that we are not this body, because if you are this body, then there is no future, there is no sinful reaction, there is no consequences, while we know that there are consequences for everything that we do in this life. I will not linger on this anymore unless somebody has any questions, please share, but this is a fallacious theory. So just understand the style of Krishna. It's an amazing style to give a contradictory theory to prove his point.
I have one question, Mataji. Can I ask?
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, actually, before I asking this question, I'm not supporting the illicit thing or unrighteous thing we should do in our life. We should abide by the dharma and do all the rightful things as per our capability and understanding, and with the knowledge of the Vedic scriptures which we get or from the gurus. But the basic purpose of the soul is to enjoy, right? Nature of soul. He explained in one of the classes. So if we are, and the ultimate purpose is to get back to the Godhead and to serve Krishna and to be not according to the one concept, not to be one with Him, but to exist as a separate identity. So my question is, when the basic nature of the soul is enjoyment, and ultimate purpose is to get back to the Godhead and to serve Krishna and to be doing things to become closer to him or to build connections with him, how these two things go hand in hand.
Hmm.
Doesn't it justify that we should enjoy our lives when the basic nature of soul is to enjoy and to have the fun? But I'm not supporting all the wrong things or the unrighteous things we should
Yes, yes.
allow in our life.
I got your
Yeah.
question, Mataji. Yes. So Mataji is saying, so there is a Vedanta Sutra which says Anandamayo Bhyasat, which means the nature of the soul is to be happy, Anandamayi, to enjoy, okay, to get pleasure. But there is also, so that is the nature of the soul. Now the Swarup of the soul, Mataji, the Swarup of the soul is Krishnera Nityadas, okay? Which means that the soul is always an eternal servant of Krishna. Okay, Jivera Swarup hoy Krishnera Nityadas. That is also a statement of the scriptures that Jivera Swarup is, true Swarup is Krishnera Nityadas. Mataji can understand it like this: fish, okay, fish's Swarup is, its tendency is to swim in water. Okay, it wants to enjoy. The only way it can enjoy is if it is in the water. Okay, because its Swarup is to be in the water. Okay, if it is taken out of the water, it cannot enjoy, it will suffer. It will be tormented, it will be tortured. Okay, it will be writhing in pain if it is taken out of the water, it will get suffocated. So if it wants to enjoy to the best of its potential, then it has to stay in its original form as a fish within the water. Okay, if it loses its original form and tries to come out of the water to enjoy, it will not be able to enjoy, it will actually suffer. So we can, if we want to enjoy, we want to enjoy, you said that rightly, that is one thing, that soul wants to be happy, soul wants to be to enjoy. If soul really wants to be happy, if it really wants to enjoy, then it has to stay in its original position of being a servant of the Supreme Lord. If it comes out of that servitude and tries to enjoy separately from that original natural position, then it will suffer. Right now, we are in this material world separated from our natural position. So fish's natural position is in the water, where it could have enjoyed the most. If it tries to come out and tries to be, oh, egoistic, I can enjoy without the water, that's fine, then it will not enjoy, it will suffer. Similarly, the soul, if it loses its natural position of being servant of the Lord and tries to enjoy separately from the Supreme Lord, it will suffer. So these two things, our identity as the servant of the Lord, meaning our identity or Swarup as the servant of the Lord, goes hand in hand with our intention of enjoying. Our intention of enjoying will only be completed in our original identity as the servant of the Lord. So if we really want to enjoy, we better stay in the water of Krishna's mercy, just like fish needs to stay in the water of the ocean.
Okay, thank you, Mataji. They go together. You
Yes.
explained it. Okay,
If we
thank
try
you.
to enjoy here through artificial means, through our body, but what we think, what world thinks is the enjoyment, like just through eating something, through watching something, through feeling, touching something, through our senses, right? Through hearing something, through tasting something, so through our five senses. If we just try to enjoy those things, then that's a very superficial happiness that actually ultimately brings sukha, that kind of sukha. Remember last time we said sukha has an opposite called dukkha. that sukha will eventually bring dukkha. It will cause entanglement. This type of pleasure is very short lasting. And yesterday we read that these types of pleasures are actually can be quite addicting also. They do have their some side effects, and eventually they bring some side effects. They never cause full satisfaction, deep, profound satisfaction that the soul desires and soul deserves. It actually just brings a very temporary, very shallow type of superficial happiness, which is not enough for the soul. So if we really want deep happiness, anand, remember anand ka ulta kuch nahi hota. Sukh ka opposite is dukkha. But anand is very deep, profound bliss. Bliss hota hai anand. Bliss is not happiness or distress. That's why Dehinu Asmin Yatha Dehi Krishna says happiness, distress. But we are hankering not for happiness, distress. We want bliss. We want anand. Anand means spiritual bliss, which is only
That's
possible as a servant of the Lord.
Thank you, Mataji.
So दुनिया का मेवा बहुत खरा, उसका कुछ ना कुछ उसमें निकलता है. It's always salty. Okay, there is always, but सेवा में असली मेवा होता है. Okay, service में. That's why even while living in this world, we can get glimpses of that spiritual bliss or anand by doing seva. Hope that answers. Thank you, Mataji. Very nice question. But I will read a couple more if possible. This is a very important verse. It's a memory verse. I don't know if we can finish today, but let's do this one. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur. Dhruvam janmamritasya cha. Dhruvam
Drupam
janmamritasya cha. तस्मादपर्यहर्यर्थे न त्वं शोचितुम् अर्हसि न त्वं शोचितुम् अर्हसि. If you see, Krishna is ending each verse with na tvam shochitam arhasi. It's so merciful of Krishna. He's reassuring Arjun at every step, like with every verse. Please don't grieve. Please don't lament. Like, please don't worry. Na tvam shochitam arhasi. You should not grieve. He keeps saying that. Let's read this verse, please. This is very important. Who wants to read?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu.
One who has taken his birth is sure to die, and after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Should I continue reading purport, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu.
One has to take birth according to one's activities of life, and after finishing one's term of activities, one has to die to take birth for the next. In this way, one is going through one cycle of birth and death after another without liberation. This cycle of birth and death does not, however, support unnecessary murder, slaughter, and war. But at the same time, violence and war are inevitable factors in the human society for keeping law and order. The Battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of Supreme, was an inevitable event, and to fight for the right cause is the duty of a Kshatriya. Why should he be afraid or aggrieved at the death of his relatives, since he was discharging his proper duty? He did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reactions of the sinful acts of which he was so afraid. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he would be degraded due to his selection of the wrong path of action.
So this is very important because Krishna says that whoever takes birth is sure to die, and whoever dies will take birth again. So basically, soul will keep accepting a body, the body will die, and then soul will move on and take birth again in a different body. So in this way, this bodies will keep rotating in a circle of, or soul will keep rotating through these bodies in a circle of birth and death, in a cycle of birth and death. So he's saying that these people will die anyways, not that by not killing them today they will live forever in this body. It's not like they will live in this body forever. They cannot live in this body forever because they have to leave this body at some point of time. So why not they die at your hand? You do your duty properly in the course of your duty, properly discharging your duty, if they die, that will be better. So you should not lament. They will die at some point of time, because whoever takes birth, death is 100% sure. Since they have accepted this body, it is given, it is 100% sure that they will have to leave this body again as well. But it is better that they leave their body now on this battlefield at your hands, and you do your proper discharge of duty. Why should you not do your duty? So basically, Krishna is reassuring Arjun that your relatives will die regardless. But if you don't kill them now, you will become sinful, because you chose the wrong course of action. And if you do your duty, then you have chosen the correct path of action, and you will get rewarded. So why should you become degraded by choosing the wrong path of action? They have to die anyways. If you kill them now, it will be good for them, good for you. Otherwise, it's the wrong course of action. So you cannot stop their death. At some point they will die. Better you do your duty. So this is this verse. Let me see how long this is. Okay, I think we will stop. And let's see if there are any questions or answers. We'll start from 28 next time. 28, 29, 30 are continuing about the soul. Then Krishna will finish this concept about the soul. Let's take any questions, realizations, understandings, confusions. Who wants to share anything? Rekha Mataji, Namita
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So, just coming back to that, so I think it is like this. We should not bring karma in the second understanding that is being talked about. I think that is a confusion. So in the first understanding is what that soul is indestructible, and all the things that Krishna explained about the soul. So that is the first and the correct understanding. And then Krishna is going 360 degree, 180-degree opposite, saying, okay, let us say ki this is not all, this is not right. Let's say the soul dies, you do not have a next life, there is no karma, there is nothing like this. Then also don't worry, because everything will end. You kill somebody, you don't have anything to repent upon anyways, because no, like you said, like, there is nothing, no problem if a Coke bottle goes away. So in the second thing, there is no concept of karma at all. So do not bring that concept at all to in the second understanding. So that is the wrong understanding. We know that, but we don't have to prove that wrong understanding. If we try to prove that wrong understanding, then we confuse ourselves, because it's wrong. So it's like trying to say it is night when it is day. So if somebody doesn't want to believe it is day and they stay inside the house in a dark room, you cannot pull them out. You cannot make them believe it's day unless they want to understand. So that's Hare Krishna.
Beautiful. Yeah, the karma understanding is mentioned by Prabhupada in the purport, number one. Number two, it is important because a lot of people that think that they're this body are still living very righteously within this body, because they're afraid of some consequences. So the question to ask is, what are you afraid of if you think you are this body? That's how the understanding comes, because people are very regretful of the wars that are happening or these tragedies that are happening in this world. So they are lamenting over all these things. But what is there to lament if these people were just bodies? If they, like, that's why I was giving the example of Coke. Actually, I've heard all this understanding from several classes. From one of the recent ones was from Swam Bhagwan Keshav Maharaj, who mentioned that he had this argument with somebody who said that I'm just this body. Yet he was, living very properly, very righteously. So why do you observe all these proper etiquettes and conduct and all this? What is the need for all of this? Because you will die with this body anyways. There is no future. But might as well enjoy with this body. Why are you restricting yourself so much? You can do so many things. Go do all those things. And that sometimes jars people out, because they have this understanding that there will be some consequences. They just don't know when those consequences will be. But I mean, again, yeah, this is fine. We don't need to go too much into details of wrong things. The understanding is that all these philosophies don't work if we have wrong understanding. Many things cannot be answered. That's why so many people shifted to Vedic wisdom, because Vedic wisdom actually answers a lot of our questions which were not answered by Christianity or other scriptures, other books of wisdom. Bhagavad Gita and Vedic wisdom answers a lot of questions for us, including reincarnation, including reactions, actions and reactions. Everything is answered actually. Many details are given. Hima Mataji, we haven't heard from you today. Would you like to share anything?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Nice to see you after a long time.
Thank you. Sorry, I was busy earlier, but I was listening to you, so I just wanted to at least listen. I think this topic is always confusing, right? Even you explain it so many times, and still that doubt stays. Like, what if someone doesn't want to believe? Someone just doesn't care. Like, I'm sure there are people who are at the edge of believing, but they're not convinced yet. And then there's some people who don't even want to believe, like completely. They don't care. Like, they think their body, and they are enjoying, and they are very much openly admitting that I'm enjoying and I'm happy with it, and they're actually not doing anything righteous. Like, is there a category of those people too? Are they completely like immune to receive any kind of um, spiritual knowledge? Because like, we're talking about like three people, like three categories: one who want to receive, one who are like not convinced but are behaving well, righteous people, and then there's the third category, which who actually don't care at all. They don't want to know. Do you know?
Mataji, it's very difficult to wake up someone who doesn't want to wake up. If they're just pretending to be asleep, it's very difficult to wake them up. They have to make some effort. So, so sometimes you just need mercy of Lord, and the time has not come yet. So you can just give them what we call a Gyat Sukriti, meaning just pray for them, just chant for them, just give them prasad, and just engage them in services. If they are willing, ask them to engage in certain services for you, if not for Lord. So in this way, slowly they purify their life, and they come to the level where they may start developing desire for knowledge. Maybe they'll start, taking interest in learning this wisdom. But unless unless they make some effort of their own to try to understand this knowledge, or it's very difficult to awaken someone. So this is spiritual awakening, and awakening is only possible if somebody wants to wake up. If they want to stay asleep and dream. Actually, Prabhupada in next few purports will give an example of how living in this body is a dream-like state. So if somebody just wants to cling on to the dream that, oh, I'm a king in this dream and I'm sitting on a throne and ruling this big, if somebody wants to stay in that dream, they don't want to wake up, they won't wake up. So you can just wait for the right time when maybe some difficulty comes in life sometimes that shakes them up. They start looking for higher purpose of life, higher principles of life. There must be something more. Until they are very happy, satisfied with what they are doing, all things are going really well. Sometimes people stay in a state of lethargy, or they're in a state of comfort, and they don't want to come out of it because everything is going well for me. The way I'm working, I'm doing things is perfect. So sometimes when things go wrong, professionally, physically, health-wise, whatever, some loss of loved one, anything like that, things like that happen, and that shakes people out of their comfort zone, and they start looking for higher principles, higher purposes. Not that that's not what we want for them. We want people to waken up before some life quakes happen. These are called life quakes. Before those life quakes happen, we want them to wake up so they can deal with those life quakes. But sometimes there is no other way. Sometimes they just have to have a very negative situation happen in life. But until then, you just keep praying and you give them a Gyat Sukriti. You can't force people to wake up or to get enlightened. They have to choose this path and this knowledge on their completely out of their free will.
Hare Krishna. Yes, I agree.
So,
Yeah. And also in this regard, one of the 10 offenses comes that we should not try to too much give knowledge to people who do not want to be disturbed. So Krishna says, like, if these people who do not want to be disturbed, we should stay away in terms of giving them too much knowledge. And like Nārangi said, that if they are friends, then we need to be available for them, that we know this world is Dukhalayam Shashvatam. And all these, we know this knowledge is true. We know that the laws apply whether you know about them or not. So we know that this path is right. We know that these laws will apply whether somebody knows about it or not. But if they do not want to know about it, we don't want to disturb them too much. Just be there, like Narangi said, be there by giving prasad or praying for them, something like that, so that when or if they are looking for some answers, they know that you are available for them, and then you can direct them in the right path. Hare Krishna.
Beautiful, Prabhuji. Thank you for explaining again. It's like reassuring that there is one day that they will also, like there's hope for everybody,
Mataji Krishna will say in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 5, I believe he says that don't disturb people that are just engaged in their own activities. They are engaged and absorbed in this world right now. But the world has a tendency to kick you. So, let them stay engaged, but you just try as much as you can from the sidelines to bring them back. If they take your hand and ready to jump across, fine. If not, just let them and enjoy. Okay, who else? Any other questions? Namita Mataji, Pooja Mataji, Chetan Prabhu, Rekha Mataji, any Ramesh Prabhu, please share. If not, we'll stop. Any questions from yesterday's class, where we discussed the 4 regulative principles of freedom, the 4 principles and the 4 illicit activities that break those principles?
Mataji, I just want to share one thing about this class, sorry.
Yes.
So suppose somebody does not accept that he's a soul, then actually the Bhagavad Gita stops here for them. There is no further going into any other chapters. So that's where I stand, Mataji. Because there is no point in going further if somebody is disagreeing with that, right? So this the Bhagavad Gita stops here for them.
Yeah, but we hope that the Bhagavad Gita is so much powerful. Krishna's words are powerful, that they're receiving it from the right, in the right mood, from the right person. That Bhagavad Gita has the potency to transform lives, and they will continue their journey deep into the pages of Bhagavad Gita, because it's a beautiful book, and no one should leave their body without reading and without applying it. But yes, Prabhuji, thank you for sharing that understanding. Yes, that's the first step of self-realization. So we don't want to fail at the first exam, but most of us still fail. And somehow sometimes we continue into our understanding, still have a very hard time behaving as we are soul. We still behave on bodily platform only. So we may know this knowledge, but we don't act according to this knowledge. So we keep failing on this first step a lot as well.
I think we should wait for them to wake up. We should wait for them to wake up so that they again start following this path. Because any time in life they may need it. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Yes, Pooja Mataji sharing something?
Yeah, Mataji, I was just thinking of the question. Actually, I got unanswered last class, or no, yesterday actually, when you were very beautifully telling us about the 4 Aadhars thumb or of the dharma, like truthfulness, mercy, and austerity, and cleanliness. So I was just having this question that when you were saying that the drinking and this smoking, drugs, alcohol, they kill this the pillar of the austerity. So how about the persons who are said about the drinking responsibly, like, or when we see the ads that drink responsibly, and sometimes they take a 1 or 2. So how do you think of that thing in this context? Like, is it a bad thing, or is it a good thing, or is it okay to go with it? That was the thing.
Mataji, according to both medical science and spiritual science, any alcohol is harmful, whether responsibly or not responsibly. That's one. Okay, so you are causing harm to the body. Remember that this body, we just read that how a soul resides in this body, but next to the soul, Paramatma also resides. So Paramatma
Yes.
is none other than the supreme person. So this body is a temple of the Lord, actually. And this is an instrument of the Lord given to us for some services, for some worthy use. Okay, it is given to us for a proper use. If we so we have no business trying to harm this body in any way, and we have to align this body in the service of the Lord in whatever way possible. Even if somebody is drinking responsibly, they're still causing an harm, and it's against the scriptures to use any kind of intoxication. Okay, because it's very difficult to follow spiritual path if you have this tendency of enjoyment with the body. So any kind of enjoyment with the body keeps us in the enjoyer mentality and not service mentality. So intoxicating even responsibly means I'm enjoying with this body. And I'm enjoying whimsically. I'm not enjoying according to the rules of the scriptures. Because certain rules are given in scriptures on how you can enjoy with this body, and you can enjoy within the realms of that. Okay.
Okay.
So it's like having an illicit affair, but having affair responsibly. That okay, I'm with this person. Let's say live-in relationship. I'm with this person only. We will not commit our marriage in front of the Lord or in front of our friends, but we will live together and do everything, engage in all kind of sensual sexual activities, and so that is still illicit. So you are responsible in a way that I'm not going around with multiple partners, but you are still irresponsible because you are not enjoying. You have been given um, freedom to enjoy, but enjoy within the sphere of that freedom. So you can enjoy within the realms of marriage, let's say. Similarly, with intoxication also, the intoxicating substances in the body, even in small quantity, it's not recommended, because they destroy our service mentality, seva bhav. And at any point, the person can fall down from that responsible position. Much like a person from live-in, whenever stressful situation happens, since they're not in a committed relationship, they will fall down, right? They will separate, they will break up very easily. But it's not easy if they're married. It's not easy to leave then, right? But it's very easy to leave if you're in just a uncommitted live-in relationship. Similarly, a person who is right now drinking responsibly can fall off the wagon when distress or problem comes, when stress comes. They will depend on that intoxicating substance to lift them up and not on Krishna. So many things are basically happening. One, we are not enjoying within the realms of scripture, misusing our body, okay, harming it, contaminating the temple of the Lord. We are increasing our enjoyer propensities, enjoyer mentality. We are depending on an intoxicating substance to lift us up rather than depending on Krishna to lift us up. So when stress comes, a person is supposed to look towards Krishna, towards prayer and worship and devotee association, and should be reading and hearing and chanting and doing kirtan and sit with devotees and share their heart and problems rather than taking to intoxicating substance. But this person is, if they were drinking one glass, let's say, every week, now they will drink one every day because they are in a difficult situation right now. So it doesn't take too long to fall off the wagon. So there are on many levels. It's a very slippery slope, is what I'm saying. So body
Alright.
we have to use very carefully with service attitude and enjoy very responsibly with it. Enjoy within the realms of the freedom that we have been given and not cross those boundaries. Just like Mother Sita was supposed to not cross that boundary. So we think, okay, very responsibly, I'll give this Brahman some diksha. But before you know, the Brahman has you in his, it turned out to be a monster, has you in his grasp and taken you away. So before you know these things, they will victimize you, make you their slave, and you're gone. So just, there are so many ways of enjoyment given. We might as well use those, which are much more responsible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that answers. Yeah, that answers my question. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, thank you for asking. There are many, many subtle aspects, Mataji, to all these 4 principles we discussed. That's why I was asking if anybody has any questions. We didn't even.
Mataji,
Yes.
just एक बात I wanted to just see. I think when they say drink responsibly and all that, I think it's mostly for them. They're trying to justify themselves, and nothing else. Whether it's little or lot, it is still alcohol. So I think it's just to pacify themselves.
Yeah, it's just hard to give up, so we kind of make excuses and stick to our habit. Yes, definitely, Mataji. Okay, we'll stop. I think that classes, it could have a lot of questions. We didn't even touch the topic of onion, garlic, eggs. I didn't even go into that. I stayed on just the very gross level of meat eating, fish, and illicit relationships, intoxication, and gambling. I didn't even go into the subtleties of these principles. Very subtle aspect are like I was saying, even flirtatious behavior or dressing provocatively can be considered illicit, or eating egg, or even tea and coffee, or like those. I mean, those are on the subtle level now. So from very gross to subtle, but at least if we can give up on the gross level, then we can work on the finer details. It's like a painting. So finer details come at the end, but let's start with the gross painting first. Okay, I think we'll stop. We've exceeded the time a lot. Maybe one day we'll just have question answers and just discussions like this. Thank you so much for joining. Vancha Kautarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare